In this lesson, we will examine how you can plan to incorporate a number of dimensions into the learning activities you design for your students. Throughout the 21CLD courses, we have examined the dimensions separately. As you become more comfortable with the rubrics, you can start planning learning activities that develop a number of dimensions concurrently. Remember that these skills are not mutually exclusive. In the 21CLD OneNote which accompanies this course, you will find the learning activity developed by Ashley Bezo in Campbelltown Performing Arts High School in New South Wales, Australia. Please open the Word document and look at how Ashley has carefully planned the learning activity Circus Ensemble. We are going to examine how Ashley designed the learning activity to incorporate learning opportunities to develop knowledge construction, collaboration, self-regulation, skilled communication and the use of ICT for learning. As you can see, Ashley has outlined the learning outcomes from the New South Wales curriculum. She describes succinctly and clearly what the students will have to learn about and learn to do in order to be able to achieve these learning outcomes. Considering her students and her school context, Ashley has then designed a range of learning experiences that she thinks appropriate to enable her students achieve the targeted learning outcomes. She has then indicated the code she thinks best describes the learning activity that she has outlined. Ashley is very familiar with the 21CLD rubrics and has been using them for some time in her planning. As you can see, Ashley is incorporating aspects of collaboration, skilled communication, self-regulation, knowledge construction and the use of ICT for learning. If you examine Ashley's document, you will see that the Circus Ensemble activity is an 8-week unit of work. Planning a unit of work over such a time frame enabled Ashley to incorporate multiple dimensions. If you notice, she is also conscious of her students' development and experiences to date, so the dimensions are coded at varying levels. For example, she has planned learning activities at a code 3 for knowledge construction and use of ICT for learning, and a code 4 for collaboration. Whereas for skilled communication and self-regulation, Ashley designed the learning activities at a code 4. As Ashley carried out the activities over the 8 weeks, she constantly reflected on what was happening in the classroom context and reviewed the learning activities as well as the learning outcomes. To help her reflect on the learning activities, she used video to capture evidence of the students' learning in relation to each of the chosen dimensions. Based on this evidence and other observations, Ashley will make a judgment on if the students have achieved the learning outcomes. This in turn will help her plan future learning activities for these students. On the 21CLD course OneNote, you can click on the video link to play the video from a shared OneDrive. Take a look at some of these clips. What do you think the students have learned? Can you see how Ashley has provided her students with the opportunities to use and develop particular skills? We would like you to review Ashley's learning unit. Would this approach to planning help you in your learning design? How would you gather evidence of student learning? You may decide to take video clips, audio or written reflections, or perhaps photos could capture evidence. How could this evidence then help you make decisions about planning future learning activities for your students? As you become more familiar with using 21CLD to design learning activities, you might consider sharing them and getting feedback on the Microsoft Educator community. In the next lesson, we will review some ways to embed the use of ICT into your classroom practice.